You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a bird, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.
can kill all the black folks you want to, baby, but you will not kill the freedom of black folks. It's coming. We're going to get it. We fought every one of your damn lousy wars, baby, and you give us nothing. Now, the war is going to be here, but we're going to be free. Now, you kill you want to, but we kill too.
Good afternoon, family. Good afternoon in the Eastern time zone. I think we're about 12:47, quarter to one. And anywhere else in the United States, wherever you are, good afternoon. If you're on the West Coast, it's still morning, I guess. So, I'm going to say good morning to the people out West. Still in a position where I cannot share videos, share the streams. So, hopefully we can get some shares out once a couple people get in here today. I'm only asking because I think the message still needs to travel. Since I can't be the messenger to make it travel, I am asking for anybody that's listening to help with that chore. Got a few things on my mind today. This title is a little bit different, but y'all know me. I'm about the words, and I'm going to break down Labyrinthine. And then we obviously know what leaders are, or what leaders are supposed to be. What's up, Free? What's going on? We got a couple groups we deal with. Throw the link in there. They don't really come over that much. We got a couple people who might dip in here and say hello, but throw the link out. I'm just gonna put it out there. The Freedman message is always going to be sent, whether it makes its destination to everybody that it needs to make it to. That remains to be seen. But for the people who have been supporting, been rocking with me, I appreciate you. We've been hot and heavy on this thing with this high school in Ann Arbor, Michigan, called Pathways, and we are going to stay steadfast on that. I've got a guest that's going to be coming on over the next couple of days here, a former employee of the actual school, still an employee in the Ann Arbor public school system, and he's got a lot on his mind. Appreciate that, Free. Appreciate that. He's got a lot on his mind, and I'm gonna let him get him off. I'm gonna give him the platform to really break things down, because he's actually a part of Labyrinthine leadership, and I want to put the definition up early so we can get that out of the way. But let me go ahead and do that. But Labyrinthine leadership, we're just going to go with the definition of Labyrinthine. My brother, Brian Simpson, good afternoon to you, brother. Peace, love, and reparations. Hopefully your family as well. And anybody else that's coming in, let me get this definition read, and then we'll jump right into the stream. Labyrinthine. Okay. When you think about labyrinth, then people know what that term is. And it's basically like a maze. It's something to kind of keep you inside. Like they always say that casinos are like labyrinths. They keep you inside. They keep you moving around, but you really never want to leave. They give you those reasons to stay in a casino. And labyrinthine, the definition of it, when you see these synonyms, maze like winding, twisting, serpentine, meandering, that's kind of like what a casino will do to you. It will keep you moving about. Serpentine, meandering, wandering, rambling, mazy, sinuous, zigzag. It just puts you in a puzzle-minded mode. And then when you think of it on the other frame of being intricate or confusing, then that's where the part of labyrinth that I come in. And labyrinthine is where it comes in with labyrinthine leadership, complicated, intricate, complex, involved, torturous, convoluted, tangled, elaborate, knotty, confusing, puzzling, perplexing, mystifying, bewildering, baffling, inextricable, entangled, impenetrable, thorny, Byzantine. I never even heard that word before. Haven't heard a couple of these words. Daedalian, Gordian, involute, involuted. I got to go back and actually get those words pronounced right, because any word that I see and I can't pronounce it right, I really shouldn't be trying to say, but I just try to say it because I've seen them all. But that's where I believe that a lot of our leadership is in this day. They're complicated. They're convoluted, they're confusing, they're puzzling, they're perplexing. And a lot of times I believe that it's on purpose. I truly believe that a lot of times our leadership out here, it's done on purpose to be labyrinthine. I don't believe that a lot of our leaders want to be clear. I don't believe that a lot of our leaders want to be transparent. I believe people that are put into leadership, I believe that they literally set out to keep people puzzled in a way. Now, I know that there's some straightforward ones out there, but when we talk about politicians, when we talk about, spiritual guidance, people, preachers, whomever, even educators, I believe, are part of labyrinthine leadership. And an educator can be confusing because they can give you a part of a lesson, but not give you all of the lesson. That's confusing with the way it is. Appreciate the hashtag free. Absolutely. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of that. Anybody that sees this video, please understand that I am still under restraints. Let's drop Labyrinthine real quick, and let me give you where I'm at. I'm still under some constraints through Facebook where I cannot share the message. I'm a part of about 40 different groups, and I tend to share the message in between 15 to 20 groups, but I still can't share messages and have group activity. I don't really do Facebook calls. I'm not really worried about that. But then it also says that my post will be moved to the bottom to the lower feed for 25 days. So they try to punish me on Facebook. And this is why we continue to try to build the platform through YouTube. And, I don't do a lot on Twitter, but, this is why we have to find other sources. And I've said this for a while. I actually have a Patreon page that I need to really kind of tune up and put it out there the right way. But I want to get that scrubbed and get it Friedman Media set so I can send a lot of these messages to Patreon, because YouTube is doing a couple things right now. They just pulled a video of mine down from like 2 years ago and said that it had to be age restricted. And, I didn't even go back and listen to it, because I don't take my time anymore to break down everybody's community standards, community guidelines, anything that they say I'm breaking. But to take a video of mine from 2 years ago and then say you can either delete this video or put an age restriction on it, that's just letting me know that they are combing through our material. Brother Tyrone, what's good to you? What's good with you? They are taking our material and they are combing through it, especially anything that's on the political end, because I am going to take the time to see what that video was, but it had to be age restricted. Y'all know I don't do nothing goofy on here. There ain't no nudity on my post. I don't have any sex stuff on my, so for it to be age restricted, I must have been cussing a little bit more to their liking, and they didn't like that. But the message was probably something that was really, and I mean, I have to say it, it was really meant for American freedmen. So that's where I am. Oh yeah. Black Magic Mike, my brother. Okay. Appreciate you coming out. They've been in a different setting with, and I'm just going to be concise, Black podcasters for a while now. And I believe because there's so much alignment with Black podcasters now, in speaking not the exact same message, but speaking in the same direction, I believe they're starting to come for us. And I'm not afraid to say that, because what's true is true. Because you can be another situation and they can put up stuff and it'll never come down. It'll never gain an age restriction. But the stuff that we say, they don't want this stuff for the masses. If they're going to let us have it up, they're going to say it needs to be age restricted. You can only make it go this way, it can go that way. If they can do a copyright infringement, they can demonetize, whatever they're going to do because of the thoroughfare of our message. So yeah, they are definitely on one out here. And it's an unfortunate situation, but ain't nothing going to stop the message. Ain't nothing going to stop me. It's just a matter of you slow my progress up. You slow my ability to get the message out there, and they'll let somebody have some goofy shit up all day, all week, all month, all year. But with me, they went and found a message from 2 years ago. I'm like literally sitting out on my deck doing a live stream 2 years ago. So this was something that I did live and then uploaded on YouTube years ago. But now they're coming after it, and it is what it is. It definitely is what it is. Make sure you have your content back up. They have a tendency to hack your account. And yes, I've heard of this. And I've got over 800 videos on YouTube, and some were pre-loaded, some were live streams. We were coming from that AAPS platform and they were automatically going to YouTube, so I'm not considered the quintessential YouTuber. I get it. But I have a lot of content on here, and I am starting to work on that. And that's why I feel like I have to start to move my content to the hard drives and get them off of one platform, because I know what I've done. I know what I've said, and I know where I've been. But if they stripped all my stuff away and I had to start over again, that would obviously be catastrophic in a way. But to me, I don't feel any one way or another. I know my message ain't going to stop because there's always something for me to speak on. So yeah, most definitely. I hear you, and I will definitely be pushing on that. If it were a bunch of stereotypical nonsense, it'd be all good with you. Absolutely. That's why I said, if I had some twerking going on, if I had some goofy shit going on, a bunch of fighting, a bunch of fussing and talking shit, they would love that. They would love that. But because my message comes in such a different frame, they want to pick profanity as a reason for me to age restrict it. Kids aren't really looking at my message anyway. But, I definitely want to say shout out to the kids at Pathways. I know some of them have actually ended up catching up to the message. And, I appreciate that. I appreciate them being able to know that I am supporting them in their mission. And really, once I found out the demographics of this, because I wasn't trying to be supportive or of LGBTQIAP kids. I wasn't trying to be supportive, whether they were non-Black kids, but to know that most of those kids at that school, gay, trans, or whatever, are mostly Black, which probably are mostly American freedmen. It was a surprise to me. And now that I know what's right, I would think at this point, they need to be listening to stuff like this. So I will definitely be more careful and make sure that they can't hit me with that age restriction tag on all of my videos, because I still throw profane word out there every now and then, but nowhere near what I used to, and definitely nothing close to what I obviously see. And I'm not narking on nobody, but I hear streams all the time that have a bunch of profanity, and they are not 18 and up. But I know because of what my message is, I know that's why they put the restrictions on it. Brother Ken, what's good with you today? How you doing? Great interview you had on the Young and Corey's show. I forgot his actual name, but he had a great interview, went really in depth, with that Pablo Escobar situation. I thought that was beautiful. Can't wait to get you on here. We're going to be talking about more local stuff, about McGee for sheriff for 2024 and what you are going to be able to bring this county versus the inexperience and the incapabilities of the other candidates that they just don't have, and they can't have and won't have by 2024, because it takes years, it takes decades to compile the experience and expertise that you have, and the county deserves that. They deserve you, and that's what we're going to push. McGee. Yes, Julian Dory. I said Corey. Julian Dory. Yes, good caster. I liked him, and I haven't checked out part 2 yet, but I got to that first 2.5 hours while I was rearranging and getting some things going here. So we are back on Labyrinthine. Labyrinthine is a huge thing to me because I don't like labyrinthine people. And the fact that we have labyrinthine leadership is a problem. The fact that they would want to be complicated, complex, convoluted, confusing, puzzling to their constituents, to the public at large, I don't know why. Anybody in leadership should be crystal clear, should be transparent, and you should be able to ask them anything and be able to get a clear and concise answer. I don't feel like we get that with our leaders on any level. And if we're going to speak from a political end, I don't believe the Democratic Party, which by and large American freedmen vote for more than anybody else, I don't believe Democrats are clear on anything that they're trying to do out here, whether it be specifically for us or whether it be against us. As the intro started, if you were around from the beginning, I had to play this.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
Because that has been pretty much the Biden administration. Even though the night that he was elected and he said that he was going to benefit Black people the way they benefited him by putting him in the White House, it hasn't happened. Kamala said this well before Joe Biden said it, but for her to say it.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
And have it come forth because 2 years in, going into the third year, we're in a situation right now that we know that the Democrats that are in office right now are set on not doing anything for Black Americans, American freedmen. I'm not talking about Black immigrants. I'm not talking about Caribbean folk. I'm not talking about anybody else with melanin in their skin. I am talking about Black Americans, American freedmen, descendants of enslaved people. But when we have a situation like that, you got to understand, if they say they're not going to do anything specific for Black people, then why is this happening on the other side? Why is this happening on the other side? You got a situation. You got a situation that they are willing to pay lost wages to Mexican migrant workers. Now, I don't know if these people got their paperwork right or if they're illegals. I don't know if they work in what do they call under the table. I don't know if they're working under the table or not. I don't care if they're working over the table, under the table, beside the table. I don't care what part of the table they're working. But the fact that the United States is committed to pay them $6.5 million in lost wages lets me know they're in the repair business. They're in the reparative justice business. They're in the redress business. They're just not in it for Black Americans. That's all. They're just not in it for Black Americans. Where I see other situations happening, we've obviously heard about all of the land that continues to be given to Native Americans so they can set up reservations, so they can eventually have casinos, so they can do whatever. Reparative justice, redress. You know, they are in the repairing business. They just not in the repairing business for American freedmen, descendants of enslaved people in this country. So what we have at this point, I feel we've had it for a long time, but we've got a failure to deliver by the Democrats. And that's why we need to fail to deliver them votes when the elections come up, when they want to come around campaigning. Stop listening and start asking. Start asking, what are you going to do for me and my people? Stop listening to what politicians are going to say to you. You heard it. You heard it. You heard it. Because I think we get shamed into voting Democrat because we don't want to vote Republican. We don't know enough about independent parties. We just get shamed into voting for Democrat because it's as if there's nothing else left there. And I'm not telling anybody not to vote at all, because I definitely believe you need to make your presence felt at the polls. But are you really making your presence felt at the polls by continuing to vote for labyrinthine leaders? I mean, if they're not going to do anything for you after the election, then why are you going to vote for them at the election? And here, we'll give you nothing for your vote, because there's absolutely something for your vote. Anybody casting a vote out there should be casting it for a purpose. For a purpose. And I'm not talking about just a sticker so you can do a selfie and show that you voted. How is it going to help you and yours? How is it going to help you and yours? So that's just where I'm at on that. But to agree to pay lost wages to Mexican migrant workers, these are people who came on this soil illegally. Now, whether they got their paperwork right or not, I don't know. I don't even know the situation of this. I literally just took this meme from another actual post, and it was a credible source. So I said, you know what? I can at least speak on the fact that they're looking at another ethnicity to fix, to repair. When Kamala said she wasn't going to do anything specifically for Black people, Barack Obama said he couldn't do anything specifically for one ethnicity. And we've seen them do that time and time again. But this just fits so beautifully.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
So, you know, if it's in my mind, or if it's in your mind, it's in their mind, it's in somebody's mind.
In my mind.
That repair can be done by the United States government, but we got to put pressure on them. Now, you know that the Mexican migrant workers probably didn't put pressure on them, but you know who put pressure on them? The Democratic Party, the open border policy party. You know, they put the pressure on. I think I actually, for some reason, I thought my tea was down here. My tea ain't down here. I need my tea. Hold on a second, y'all. Give me one quick second. I think I left my tea in the other room. Give me one quick second. But right before I do that, let's just skip right to this and give y'all an opportunity. Give y'all an opportunity to see this, because I'm flipping right to this while I bust up real quick. Just check this out. I know everybody's probably seen it at this point, but you need to check this out, and then I'm going to catch back up on the San Francisco treat.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No.
We absolutely must hold them accountable. If they want our vote, then they need to want our policies. And where we are at this point, and I appreciate you holding on there, had me pulling a Pharaoh said that. I watched that elder cook a lot, and every now and then he's got to get up and he, you know, makes his move. He does what he has to do, whether he goes to get him a beverage, a smoothie or something. He has to break away. So I see no shame in having to get up and get my thing right, because that's going to obviously help me keep my voice correct. So I thought I had my tea in here, but I had it in the other room. So I am back. But not holding them accountable is a real issue. It is a real issue. And my issue with the way we continue to do the same thing over and over, you know, and get no results for it, that's lunacy to me. And recently there was a situation in San Francisco, and I can only call it a situation. Y'all already know where I'm at with the Colored People's Organization. You know, the NAACP, they just know friend of mine. And I'm gonna really kind of break that down of why I've been on the NAACP, the Colored People's, you know, situation. I'm at their helmet probably until I die, to be honest with you. But their NAACP in San Francisco rejected a $5 million reparations payment to Black people. Now, keep in mind, I don't think there was absolutely chance one for this to pass. Let me just be honest with you. I am a realist. And I don't believe there was any opportunity for this actually to pass. So I'm not going to be on it because I feel like the San Francisco residents, the American freemen of San Francisco, got cheated. I'm more on it about the NAACP being against it. That's what I'm on. They're against the payment. So the fact that, and this is the weird thing, they were actually for it and then turned their back on it. And, you know, I've only really heard one person speak on this, and that is the good Reverend Amos Brown. I've only heard him speak on it. And he shuffled along through an interview, I think it was with Roland Martin, and tried to explain what it was. And to me, I still feel like he failed. I mean, let's just be honest with you. I feel like he failed, and I don't believe that there's anything that he could have said that would have made me understand why they would just out and out reject it. Now, he did put in this letter that they are now saying was misrepresented. And they are now saying that there was a misprint. It's not a misprint. You rejected it. And I'm not sure exactly why they can't just admit that they don't want to do anything for American freedmen. We can see that during the course of every other day, other than this day. The NAACP works against most Black American causes. And we've seen this because they looking out for Latinos, you know, looking out for anybody pretty much crossing the border. You know, we hear all this POC, we hear all this minorities, we hear all this, but we never hear anything about reparative justice. We don't hear anything about reparations in general, you know, and we're talking even on a local end where I don't really call it reparations. I say policy initiatives, whatever. I just don't believe anything on the local end should be considered reparations, because no city, town, county, state can pay reparations. That is a national debt. But they had these things, and it's so crazy that they always want to bring up the same things, you know, when they want to talk about what Black people need. What Black people need. And, you know, the things that they said, I felt like they were inflammatory. Okay. Let me just be honest. I felt like the things that were said in the letter were inflammatory because they basically put us in this second class status. And if you know me, I'm not taking a back seat to anybody. I feel like I had a pretty decent education coming up, pretty decent. And I went to a decent school that offered me that education, and I took it. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Reverend Brown. Reverend Brown. Been my Reverend since I was a little bitty boy. But this Reverend Brown is a clown. This Reverend Brown is a clown. And I don't care about his age. Yeah, I just talked about old politicians. Politicians need term limits and they need age limits. I don't want to see nobody 80 doing nothing in politics. Nothing. I don't care how lucid you are. I don't care. You're 80 years old. You have a different mindset. Even if you were a writer at one time, by the time you're 80 years old, you've lost all that edge. I don't know too many 80-year-olds with a lot of edge. I just don't. They have so many other things to be concerned about. So when you get older, I just feel like you need to step aside and let the youngins come in with that new energy, you know, with that invigorated system, and you let them come in and take over, because you can't do what you once did and you no longer think the way you once thought. So I believe you need to pass the baton to the youngins. And that's where we get with this labyrinthine leadership too. Sometimes the labyrinthine leadership comes from people that have been a part of the infrastructure for so long politically that they just say any old thing. And that's why I said in February, the NAACP in San Francisco was actually riding with this. They were for it. They were going with it. And then all of a sudden they reeled back and said no. And there's documentation that they were literally riding with this. They were in favor of this. But for some reason, right there at the end, we about to get to that, Black Magic. We about to get to that. They just turned their back. And I just don't know exactly why, don't even care at this point. But the fact that they rejected it, even though, like I said, there was 2 black people in San Francisco, that would have been $10 million. They're not giving up $10 million to 2 black people, let alone $5 million to every single American freeman in San Francisco. And I don't know the population, didn't do the stats, didn't care to. But I knew for a fact they wasn't going to give $5 million up coming from San Francisco. I wouldn't think that's even feasible coming from the United States government. But to reject it was the craziest thing. But just looking at it, it said, invest in education. Black students don't perform as well as their peers. The hell you say? The hell you say? See, I resent statements like that because he's talking about a certain faction of black kids that go to certain schools that may be under-resourced, may have bad educators, may have bad educational infrastructures. He's talking about a certain, because every black kid does not underperform compared to their peers. I resent that. He said we need remedial programs to help our children with reading, math, and science. Really? So we just dumb out here, Amos? We just dumb? That's what we need to get better? So you reject the $5 million reparations plan that wasn't going to happen in the first place, but this is what you come up with? We need remedial courses in reading, math, and science. Really? And maybe he's just speaking specifically about San Francisco. I don't know what kind of kids are in San Francisco, so I don't know the educational disparities in San Francisco. But this just ain't in San Francisco. I'm in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Well, technically not. I'm right outside of Ann Arbor, Michigan, in Ypsilanti, Michigan, and I'm talking about it. So there's people across the country that are thinking like this, and when I'm reading it, somebody else is reading it. The way I always see it, if I'm reading it, 2 white folks is reading it. 2 white folks, an Asian and a Latino. And this is what he puts out there, that we are remedial. Remedial. You go to the next one where he says economic empowerment. So they always want to do this economic empowerment, but you don't want to give up cash disbursements to help people with their economics. And like I said, I'm not hemming in on the 5 million because I didn't think that was going to happen from moment one. But they always want to talk about this economic empowerment infrastructure building program, empowerment zones, da-da-dee-da-da-da. That's bullshit. That's all bull. And that's stuff that other people can get anyway. That is not set specifically for American freedmen. Everybody can get that. Housing. We want more housing, more public housing, more affordable housing for blacks. There should be preferential treatment for blacks to keep our people in the city. Why? To keep them broke, keep them poor, keep them on Section 8? I mean, why? I don't get it. I just don't understand it. Wow, that's incredible. Just got a little questionnaire from YouTube asking if your video was suitable. Hey, so they sending it out to the subscribers and the viewers to see if my content is suitable. I would hope you have said yes, Sister Cindy. I would hope you said yes. We don't need no more problems around here. I got enough problems. We don't need no more problems around here. I got way too many problems out here. So I would have hoped you said yes. Thank you, Brother Mike. Thank you. So going back up to a comment that Brother Mike put up there earlier. He is the vice chair and on the California State Reparations Task Force. He's like speaking in them Negro. Yes, he does. He has a lot of pastorisms in his voice. You know, he doesn't have very good Wi-Fi. I did notice that. He was on there with Roland, and his Wi-Fi was horrible, and Roland was trying to, you know, keep up with him. And to me, personally, I have a hard time listening to them cats. You know, after my situation with organized religion, anybody that talks in that I don't want to hear all that shit. I really don't. Just because I'm in a mode at this point, you know, I'm looking at either you're going to do something for us or you're not going to do something for us. There is no middle ground. There is no middle ground. Thank you very much, Sister Cindy. Like I said, they're looking at me. Somebody was short of 700 subscribers on YouTube. Like I said, I'm not a YouTuber. You know, most of my views on my streams, people that listen to the streams are not even on YouTube, but they have found it their business to make sure that if they can cut me at the hamstrings, they're going to cut me at the hamstrings. I get it. But I'm not going to change up the message. The message is going to continue to come through thorough. I just don't understand. Where am I at in all of this? There's so many other casters with 50, 60,000, 100,000, 200,000 people, and their stuff is flat out trash. Are their subscribers getting sent these type of messages asking whether the content is suitable or not? Flat out trash. But what's really trash is the situation here. This situation, when they start talking this craziness about what we need, it's all the same Democratic talking points. Healthcare. Blacks don't have the lifespan as the majority of the population. We need programming that positively affects our health and longevity and our mental health. So, I mean, really the lay of the land at this point is Obamacare. If you don't have something through your employer, most people got Obamacare. I don't know how good, bad, or indifferent that is. I've never actually had it. So, you know, I have health benefits. And we're good. But to put this as part of the reparations bill for San Francisco, I've seen this type of stuff before. Nothing moved anybody's educational needle from 1 through 4. Invest in education, economic empowerment, housing, and healthcare. And this old Fillmore Heritage Center, that's something that he's been working on pretty much probably since I've been born, or at least been an adult. I've been hearing about the Fillmore Heritage Center for so long. I feel like I don't even know. And I don't know what it is, don't even care, because it doesn't have anything to do nationally. And I realize this was for San Francisco, but people in San Francisco must not be too concerned. No more Heritage Center. He just wants to be a notch on his tombstone. So when he goes up out of here, he can say that he helped put the Fillmore Heritage Center on its feet. So whatever the Fillmore Heritage Center is, much respect to everybody that's out west in Northern California, San Francisco specifically. I don't give a shit. Okay? I don't care. I just don't. Oh, yeah. Yeah. They made it seem like this was going to be something that was going to positively affect us, and it didn't. It didn't. Some people went from not having anything to paying what they couldn't afford to get before. Now they're paying for it to keep, insured. Yeah. I mean, the playbook is the same. The playbook is thin. It has very few plays in it and nothing new. There's no ingenuity in the Democratic Party. And I'm not here just to talk about the Democratic Party. I'm specifically speaking about labyrinthine leaders. It just so happens that a lot of our labyrinthine leaders that we know are Democrats. So it is what it is. And for all y'all out here, y'all Biden sexuals, I get it.
Buttermilk biscuits, I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's for y'all. I know y'all out here. Some of y'all gonna vote Democrat no matter what. I get it. I get it. Y'all gonna vote Democrat no matter what.
But a milk biscuits, I enjoy it.
Get you some extra butter. Get you some extra butter. I'm pulling all the old ones out today, y'all. My stuff got uploaded into a whole nother frame, so I'm pulling out some old stuff today. You know, I'm pulling out some old stuff. They really don't want this.
By down funds, chased by KA sign, wanted by the stigmas, now the Q's wanna try. They want some ski week, ski week, ski week, ski week, ski week.
I'm sending that out to downtown Willie Brown of San Francisco. That was from his baby boo back in the day. That was from his baby boo back in the day. I just feel where I'm at this point. I'm going to speak it the way I speak it. And if they don't like the way I speak it, they're going to do what they're doing on YouTube. They're going to do what they're going to do on every platform. You know, and as our brother Tony Delarmy says, you know, it's not to be big on YouTube, it's to become independent of YouTube. And YouTube knows that a lot of people are starting to develop platforms outside of them. This is why they're starting to be such, you know, staunch opponents of the messages that are coming across, because they didn't put it out here for people to deliver positive stuff to the masses. They didn't. YouTube started in a whole different frame. And I get it. And this thing with the NAACP, it's been on 100 different streams. I'm not doing anything new with this message. I'm just articulating it a different way. Y'all know how I is. y'all know how I is. we gonna get into it today. We're gonna get into it today. You know.
Y'all want to see a dead body?
So, oh man, this was crazy too. This is something that happened right here in Ann Arbor. And you might be able to get you some bread if you want to get in shape. You might want to get you some bread if you get in shape. Ann Arbor jogger injured by pothole gets $15,000. You understands me? They sued the city for potholes and got a $15,000 settlement. I have no idea how injured this jogger was, but it caused some type of damage enough for them to garner a $15,000 settlement. We live in a rich community, and the fact that the streets are falling apart, it is not a good thing, said the jogger. 15 bands. Run them, baby. I needs my money. I was out here and I slipped in a podcast. I slipped in a pothole, and I need my money. I don't know how they can. Did they sue for 50 and got 15? Did they sue for 25? I don't know what they sued for, but they got a $15,000 settlement. Got a $15,000 settlement. Appreciate you, dog. Oh, yeah. You know what? That could have been it. A shin bone bruise, that's a good 15 G's, because that's going to hurt. Don't nothing hurt more than a shin bone bruise, except when you hit that pinky toe on that wheel on your bed. When you cut that corner too tight on that mattress and you hit that corner, I mean, that pinky toe goes through some hell. And I mean, I'm trying to tell you, it goes through hell. That's why everybody's pinky toe is jacked up out here. That's why everybody's pinky toe is jacked up out here, because they don't hit their pinky toe. Most people don't broke their pinky toe and just never went to the doctor. I'm trying to tell you, if your pinky toe is bad, I already know. or the pinky toe got shot. I've had my pinky toe threatened several times, Brother Mike, so don't be bringing no PTSD up here. I done had my pinky toe threatened several times, so, you know, I'm trying to keep all my stuff. I'm a big fella, so I need my balance. I need all 5 of them babies right. So, yeah, but I've had them threatened. I've had my pinky toes threatened before. But this individual got 15 bands on a settlement. on a settlement from jogging because they hit a pothole. I'm thinking about just going out there today and see if I can find me a little something to fall into. Because, you know, if they got 15, I mean, I'm willing to at least go down. I'm willing to at least go down for like 7,500. I can't go down. That $15,000 fall might take me out the game for a minute, and I need to be right. So I might be able to just get me 7,500, and you know, we can clear a couple things off. You know, make sure everything stays right. We ain't got no past dues, but we ain't getting ahead. Yep, that's one of the most telling you that pinky toe. That pinky toe is just out of this world when it gets hit on the corner of that bed. I'm trying to tell you. What is this urban violence in Washtenaw County? What is this?
There's also the immediate things that we have to do right now to address urban violence throughout our county and in our area. Oh,
that's the sheriff. That's the clown ass Sambo sheriff we got. He was talking about urban violence in Washtenaw County. Urban violence. When they say urban in a territory like this, we're not even 20% of the county, but we're urban. Really? There it is. There it is. Pothole preparations. Yes. Pothole preparations, man. You know, and there ain't no surgery for it. That's probably why people don't go to the hospital, because they can't do nothing to your pinky toe. They can't put a cast on your pinky toe. They can't do nothing to it. So your toe just, you know, that's why some people's toe look like they go in one direction and toe go in another direction. A lot of people done broke their pinky toe. Hey, if you ain't got a bad pinky toe, that lets me know one thing. It lets me know y'all didn't have bed frames and your mattress was on the floor when you was growing up. That's okay, though. A lot of people's beds was on the floor. I get it. No problem. I get it. But yeah, our sheriff is just above Jesse Lee Peterson, I think. He's just above Jesse Lee Peterson. He is not as flamboyant as Jesse Lee Peterson, but oh yeah, he is a clown in sheriff's clothing. He is absolutely a clown in sheriff's clothing, and he's done some detrimental things in our county, and he's elevated people who have been detrimental to our county. And we're going to get into talking about a lot of that stuff because he is a part of the Labyrinthine leadership. He is somebody that was put into office the same time that Barack Obama became president, and he has remained the sheriff throughout. Started an organization that Barack Obama started, the My Brother's Keeper. They got that locally that does absolutely nothing for young black men. Absolutely nothing for young black men. And I know there's going to be some people that say, oh, there's been a couple. There's been this person that came out of it and that person came out of it. Out of damn near 16 years, I ain't heard 10 success stories come from My Brother's Keeper. I have not heard 10 success stories come from My Brother's Keeper. But they made a rap album. And I don't know why they made a rap album, because now you got citizens of Washtenaw County that say rap music is what's killing our county. So y'all making rap music at the sheriff's department, but rap music is what's killing our people. See how that works? Labyrinthine leadership. Labyrinthine leadership. I'm on it today, brother. Trust me. We here. That boomerang game is back. I got my energy back. My voice is strong. I don't know if you checked in, you know, since we upgraded the set a little bit, got a better microphone, you know, got my slides popping. We happy to have you, and we hopefully you gonna stick around, because I know you'll go underground for a couple months. I don't know where you at, and then you just pop back up. I'm glad to have you in here, but we doing different things. That boomerang game is back. I take that message somewhere and then reel it back in. We back here, baby. We back here. So we want to move on. We want to move forward. But before I do that, because I want to talk about more labyrinthine leadership, but I want to stop for a minute, because yesterday was an absolute reason to celebrate. Not because it was just the day after St. Patrick's Day. You know, I'm going to come up real quick here. But it was a day to celebrate in this county. And I was sitting at a park a couple of days ago on a stream, and that park was like founded, I guess that it was founded like back in 1917. The family had got here and got this land back in 1832. So we know that the abolition of slavery hadn't stopped. So I don't know if this park was actually built with slave labor or perked up with slave labor, But the fact that it happened during those times, I don't know. So I wasn't going to put that on the Allmendinger family. Okay. But I had a situation where I came across something at the Detroit Historical Society. And this was big for me to see this on the day of. I didn't come up yesterday, but we're gonna go. On the day of yesterday in 1837, okay? March 18th, 1837, the University of Michigan received permission from the state legislature to relocate to Ann Arbor from Detroit. A lot of people don't know that the University of Michigan started in Detroit. Still to this day, many people don't know that the University of Michigan started in Detroit. I wish it would have stayed there. Truthfully, you have the University of Michigan, then you have becomes the auto capital of the world. There's Motown. Just imagine what Detroit would be to this day. Now, I'm thankful that I grew up in Ann Arbor, thankful for the University of Michigan, but the University of Michigan personally didn't really benefit me growing up. I just knew it and it's here. But I wish it really could have stayed in the city of Detroit. So it says it was given permission to relocate from Ann Arbor to Detroit, where it had been founded 20 years earlier. A parcel of 40 acres was given to the university by the Ann Arbor Land Company. This engraving shows us the grounds in 1855. So think about it. In 1837, they were given the permission. And then it says, this engraving shows the campus grounds in 1855. 1837, we know was before Juneteenth, 1865, or any days back in 1863, 1864, when they started to free people. And then 1855 says this engraving shows the campus grounds in 1855. And look how many acres the University of Michigan was in 1855. 40 acres. 40 acres. 40 acres. Does that mean anything to me, or does it mean anything to anybody else? 40 acres. The University of Michigan started out with the same amount of land that every American freedman was supposed to get post-slavery. Think about it. Think about it. The University of Michigan would have gotten the same amount of land. Oh, yeah, they had some mules. They had some mules. Yeah. Two-legged mules. I fully believe that the University of Michigan used slave labor in its first building of its structures. Why would they have paid people to build the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor? And there were slaves in the north, so I don't want to hear about people saying, oh, there was no slaves up north. There were definitely slaves up north. There were definitely enslaved people up north. So I truly believe that they built the University of Michigan, at least partially, with free labor. With free labor. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they had a mule. They had a mule. They had a mule named Amos, like Amos Brown. They had a mule named Cleophas. Yeah. Adolphus. Rudolphus. Yeah, there was a lot of mules. I truly believe that the University of Michigan was partially built with slave labor because there were people that were not free in Michigan, in Ohio, in Indiana, all around. And if they could get some work out of them, those people were all connected back in the day. And I'm sure, hey, let us borrow so-and-so. We'll pay you back in this. We'll pay you back in that. Absolutely. These are the things that they don't want to talk about when we talk about societal harms, when we talk about systemic harms. See, when they talk about local reparative justice, they need to go all the way back here. They need to go further back, all the way back. But this is where it really starts. It didn't just start in the last 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. Don't take me back to the civil rights movement. Take me way back, all the way back. Because in 1837, if the University of Michigan was given permission to move from Ann Arbor, move to Ann Arbor from Detroit, that means Ann Arbor was already popping. So who had slaves up here? Who was basically living under the Jim Crow system up here? People act like that slavery was just in the South, and it's just such a lie. I won't even say it's a misnomer anymore. It's a lie. And it just ain't in my mind. People know it.
In my mind.
People know this. People know all of this. And that's why I'm not going to stay quiet on justice for American freedmen, whether it be locally or it be nationally. But I have to speak it in my way. You know, I can say the same things over and over. Or I can say them different ways, but have the same meaning. And I'd rather say them different ways because things like this, as I told everybody, I applied for a seat on this reparations council that they've got locally here in our county. I have no problem putting it out there because I may not get it. If I don't get the seat, I'm going to talk about it. If I do get the seat, I'm going to talk about it because one of the things that I want to make sure is that when and whatever is given, I want to make sure that it's not only given to the right people, but I want to make sure it's just in what they give. Because the county has no problem with throwing money all around to different agencies, groups, and organizations that don't do nothing. I want you to do something for the people that have done something. Because if they haven't done anything personally, their ancestors did. You know, and there's a lot of things that I want to throw out there that they're not already talking about. And it's funny how I've even filled out the application. I filled it out wrong. And when I went to fill it out the correct way, they've added things. They've actually added different things and wanted me to make a little letter of why I feel like I need to be a part of this council. I get it. They're trying to weed out the bad. And hopefully they'll just come on and pick the good. That's the thing. Hopefully they'll just come on and pick the good. So it'll be a good thing. It'll definitely be a good thing. But this parcel of land, 40 acres, was given to the University of Michigan by the Ann Arbor Land Company. It says given. So you got to understand, I'm with the words given. Given. Because from what I still know, the University of Michigan pays Ann Arbor nothing to be in Ann Arbor. This is what I know. The University of Michigan gives Ann Arbor, the city of Ann Arbor, nothing. I hope so too, brother. I hope so too. You know, I have the desire to be a part of it because I know that so many people can be looked over if all I's are not dotted and T's are not crossed. So that's why it has nothing to do with me wanting to really work my way into politics. No, I understand what this is. I understand what this means, and I can move forward with it. And I would look forward to helping anybody out that's trying to do something positive for the descendants of slaves in this county. So that's a good thing. Absolutely. But this was just, it was startling to me to know that 40 acres was the original land parcel given to the to the University of Michigan, whereas 40 acres of land was supposed to be given because it had been earned by the descendants of slaves, and it was never given. It was never remitted to American freedmen. But the University of Michigan acquired that. I don't know why 40 acres stuck out so much and why it was what it was at that point and why this parcel, I don't know. But what we know is 40 acres now, it's 25 city blocks. 25 city blocks. You think about 25 city blocks, how far that is and what you could do with 25 city blocks. Well, if you don't think you can do nothing, just ask the University of Michigan, because that's what they started with here in Ann Arbor. A parcel of land given to them for nothing, because they pay nothing to the city of Ann Arbor today. The city of Ann Arbor benefits off of the university being here because of all of the other business that circulates in Ann Arbor, but it doesn't specifically benefit from the University of Michigan. This is what I knew, and I don't believe any of that has changed. I'm not sure why city government has never worked something out that they need to give X amount of millions every single quarter, every single, biannual, annually, whatever. I'm not sure why that's never been worked out. Or go somewhere else. I mean, where is the University of Michigan going to go at this point? They can't put that campus anywhere else in this state. They can't move anywhere else. They're going to uproot all of their buildings, not physically, obviously, or basically shut them down, be nothing. No, the University of Michigan is locked into Ann Arbor till the end of time. That's why I don't understand, but that's that labyrinthine leadership. They know that the University of Michigan is getting off scot-free, no pun intended. They're getting off scot-free by not giving anything direct to the city. And that has helped create the arrogance of the University of Michigan, as if we're helping you. We're helping you. Whereas I believe if Ann Arbor was smaller, without the University of Michigan, possibly having, smaller colleges on it or a college campus, it'd be fine. But it's gotten so used to the University of Michigan being here, it makes it seem as if the city can't survive. That's it. A 1,000 acres. 1,000. University of Michigan started with 40 acres. His family got 1,000 for beating us, raping us, and killing us. Because that's how he acquired that land. If it's in Georgia, you already know where that land came from. He said his family let a lumber company come in from time to time and get the trees, and they divide the loot. Wow. So he's still literally doing nothing for the money. He's doing absolutely nothing for the money. Trees just grow. They just grow, and then he lets somebody else come in and chop them down, and he gets a bag off of that. See how they're still earning money off of our backs. They're still getting money off of our backs. Real estate is real. God ain't making no more land. God ain't making no more land.
Where is JJ getting all this cash?
That's what it must be like. He don't do nothing. He probably sit around slugging Pabst Blue Ribbon all day. And all of a sudden, he just get a check. He just get a check because some lumber company is cashing him out for trees that are on his land that his grandpappy, great-grandpappy, great-great-grandpappy used to hang us from.
Where is JJ getting all this cash?
Ain't did nothing in his life. And we need to be repaired from that. But how are we going to get there with labyrinthine leaders? We are not. We are absolutely not going to get there with labyrinthine leaders. We are not going to get there with strategies like this. When they send money to another direction, and like I said, Mexican migrant workers, who started out here illegally. Possibly you might be paying illegals. We already know they're giving them the right to work. So maybe some of these people are actually getting paid. They're illegal. They're not even supposed to be here. How did you get here? Your ass ain't supposed to be here. Well, we're going to give you these lost wages, though. We'll put you up in a 3, 4, 5-star hotel, give you bridge cards, give you vouchers to go get clothes. We'll give you some transportation, get your kids in school. Oh, and now we're going to pay you for some How are their wages lost? That's what I don't understand. How are their wages lost? If Mexican migrant workers got lost wages. What do American freedmen have? How much money have we been cheated out of? Labyrinthine leadership. This is where it comes from. And nobody's catching it. Nobody's really talking about it because they just let it go. And this is why we need to be repaired. This is why we need to be repaired. Stop talking that closing a racial wealth gap between us and white folks. White folks is in third place. What I need the bronze medal for? I'm going for the Asians. I'm going for the Hindus. I'm going for the Arabs, the Chaldeans. I'm going for the people that's really getting the bags out here. White folks is in third place, mostly fourth place. In a lot of areas, we actually living beneath Latinos because they done elevated them on a socioeconomical level so high, they are living better than American freedmen, even on an illegal state. A lot of people don't understand that. We're fighting for our survival. We should be fighting, period, but we're fighting for our survival. If they can bring illegal people in here and bring them and elevate them over you, what are you doing? Y'all just gonna keep dancing? Y'all just gonna keep cutting the fool? Yeah, fighting. You know, I mean, we're going to keep having situations like this because we can't get it together. And this is just one city in one state, but you got to believe that there's other people in NAACPs across the country who feel the same way. We need some housing. We need some education. We need some better health care. We need some better health care. Help us with some longevity. We need what the fuck is the point of being around here for a long time and being broke? If we're going to at least be here, at least have us be profitable. What's the point of lasting broke? None of those things had anything to do with elevation for American freedmen. We need some affordable housing. We likes the rents. We likes the rents. He didn't say nothing about home ownership. We need more affordable housing, more public housing. Huh? Education, we need remedial courses. Huh? That's what we at? We getting remedial courses for reparations. Wow. That's where it's coming, man. They're about to be the black. Look, I'm trying to tell you, Latinos, they the new niggas. People don't understand that. They taking over the auto plants. They taking over the manufacturing plants. All these jobs that we held back in the day, they are now giving to it not only legals, but illegals. We are not getting these factory jobs anymore because they know they can pay them less. A Latino will come into a plant job and he'll check off all the boxes. He ain't worried about no health insurance. He just trying to get that badge. He's trying to get access so he can come work. And the front of the house, you already know who's going to be in the front of the house. That's for the corporate image. The front of the house is always going to be Dwight's. If you walk in and you don't see Dwight, must be a black-owned company or another ethnicity owns it. But for the most part, the corporate structure is still going to be put Dwight's up front. That's what we want to have people see. First levels of management, supervisory, this, that, and the other. You might see one of us if there's enough of us in there, but for the most part, we're not even getting the supervisory positions anymore. But when you go back to where it's all put together, because the manufacturing part of any company is where the money's made. They can do all the commercials, all the marketing, all the promotions that they want to with McDonald's. But if ain't nobody flipping burgers and shaking fries, ain't no McDonald's. And who doing that work? Who doing that work? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we've got to be at least up on it to know We are fighting for our own survival. We are trying to prevent our own erasure. And how we do that is to stop electing, selecting, appointing labyrinthine leaders. If they're not speaking clearly to us, then they're not speaking to us. If you're not telling me what I need to hear, I don't need you telling me what I want to hear. Because what I want to hear is I want to hear something good. That's for the most part. Most people just want to hear something good. Nah, not me. I don't want to hear something good. I really don't. Nope. Don't need to hear something good. I don't need to hear nothing good because that just plays in my mind.
In my mind.
What I need to hear is something right. It's got to be right with me. It's got to sit right with me. It's got to sit right with my family. It's got to be beneficial for me. It's got to be beneficial for my family. I just ain't out here by myself. I just ain't out here by myself. So it's got to be right for everybody. Man, we had a lot of data. So crazy. You know? And this is something, this ties into when we talk about entrepreneurship. This ties into entrepreneurship. I'm finding some of these old drags. Listen to this.
Don't go into a Black neighborhood without seeing Asian businesses or restaurants or liquor store owners, and vice versa. You don't go into Asian neighborhoods without seeing Black customers and Black clients that keep our businesses alive. And
listen to it again.
You don't go into a Black neighborhood without seeing Asian businesses or restaurants or liquor store owners, and vice versa. You don't go into Asian neighborhoods without seeing Black customers and Black clients that keep our businesses alive. And
you don't go into Black neighborhoods without seeing Asian businesses, Chinese food restaurants, beauty supply stores, gas stations, liquor stores, dollar stores in Black neighborhoods, Asians. And then it says you don't go into Asian neighborhoods without seeing, she didn't say Black businesses because there ain't no Black businesses in Asian neighborhoods. She said Black customers. So Black neighborhoods got Asian businesses, but Asian neighborhoods only got Black customers. How come there ain't no Black businesses in the Asian neighborhoods? Labyrinthine leadership. Labyrinthine leadership. There you go. Arabic neighborhoods, Arabic businesses. Polish neighborhoods, Polish businesses. Black neighborhoods, Arab businesses, Asian businesses, Indian businesses, white businesses, of course. Asian, come on now. And that all comes from labyrinthine leadership. You got all these Negro preachers in these Black neighborhoods that they have churches in. They don't never fight for nobody to have a business in that neighborhood except them. You ever seen churches in mass fighting for properties to have Black-owned businesses in their neighborhoods where their churches stand? How come we don't have that? How come we don't have that? How come we got 20 Black churches on the south side of Ypsi. I think it used to be like 25, and some of them done closed up. Some of them done gone online. We got online pastoral situations going on now. They don't even open up their churches no more. They just do online services, cash app to preacher. But 20 Black churches on the south side of Ypsi, and I ain't seen 20 Black preachers walk in the streets securing buildings so we can get Black-owned businesses, and they got the bread, but they ain't spreading that bread amongst the community. They spreading that bread amongst their family. That's what they do. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Getting grants to start businesses in our neighborhoods, but we don't get grants to start businesses in our neighborhoods. They'll get a grant to start a business in a neighborhood that they don't live in, but they know is profitable. Oh, don't get me talking about none of these jack legs. You got your benevolent offering, your Gideon offering, your building fund, you know, your Sunday school tithe, your afternoon service tithe, da-da-dee-da-da-da. Most churches trying to run a C note up out you every week. And everybody ain't got that. I get it. But I know plenty of people that are putting it in there and putting more in there. Putting more. If you put $100 in a church coffer on a Sunday, you better have a full tank and all your bills better be paid. You put 3 figures in a coffer, all your bills better be paid. You better be on a full tank. Period. You better not need for nothing. Your kids better not need for nothing. Because if you don't, you a dumbass. You dumb. You stupid. And you slow. And then people like Amos Brown are running your NAACP too. But the reason I don't rock with the NAACP, back in the day, I was harassed by some police officers. We had a serial rapist going on around here. And the serial rapist that literally was like damn near a foot taller than me. So I shouldn't even been in like and play. But I was kind of harassed and semi roughed up. Not really, because I was with somebody, but you know, they treated us like we were suspects. And I was told to go to the local NAACP, buy some boulets. I ain't gonna say who they were, but I was told to go to the NAACP. And NAACP at that time was ran by Fred McQuiston. Fred McQuiston was running the NAACP. God rest his soul, he's passed on now. And I found him, met up with him, and he told me to go to police. Long and the short of it, he literally told me to go to the police. I was like, well, Mr. McQuiston, they told me to come to you and you would help me, you know, kind of go through the process. He's like, no, you need to go to the police. And I'm like, but the police are the ones who did this. And it just made me understand that where we are in this world, we can't even count on our own leaders, our labyrinthine leaders to lead us. I didn't know he was a labyrinthine leader back then. And a lot of people will say probably a lot of good things about Brother McQuiston. And the fact that he failed me meant I don't care who you succeeded with, you failed me. He might have did some good things around here. He was the president for a while, I guess, but I don't care. He slighted me. He didn't do right by me. And since you didn't do right by me, I'm out. I'm out on the whole thing. And I just looked at the NAACP sideways from that point on. And I didn't do anything that was affiliated with the NAACP until my daughter was NAACP all academic student. And there was a dinner that they served at one of the hotels up here, you know. And that was just to get to $50 a plate. $50 a plate for a dry ass steak, some clumpy cold potatoes, and about 5 strings of green beans, and you know, some watered down iced tea. But it was what it was. It was what it was. So I was thankful that she was blessed to be in a position. And I never said anything negative about that, but the fact that the NAACP has just been all the way off the charts for me, I'm not there. Oh, there it is. I ain't never thought of that one. I likes that one. The NAACPQIA plus. Yes. You just basically combine the NAACP and the LGBTQIAP. Just put it all together because that's who they for. And you could actually put OC on the end of it. It could be the NAACPQIAOC because they the of colors. They the of colors. They like the people of colors. They just don't really like the colored people. They like the people of color. So, yeah. But we've got to do something about labyrinthine leaders on the political end, on the spiritual end. And I haven't talked as much about educators. If you are a Black teacher, if you are a Black administrator, if you are a Black principal, And we're going to be talking more about the Black principal over at Pathways, Shanu Maku. We're going to be talking about his Black staff that he has in place. We're going to be talking about them later this week. We're going to be breaking some things down about when you're getting into a position, and we'll bring back up Labyrinthine leadership. When you get into these positions and you don't do right by the Black kids, let me go in and come up because I need you to see my seriousness of my ugly ass face. When you don't do right by our children, I mean, don't do right by our kids, we ain't got nothing for you, dog. As Black parents, we should be looking at you one way. Do right by my kids or we getting your ass up out the paint. How about that? How about that? Because we be deaf on another teacher that do something. I see it a lot now. We want to jump all over people or be passive enough to not say nothing because you don't think nothing's going to get done. It's either or. You're going to go 10 toes in or you don't say nothing. But on the Black teachers, we just let them slide. You know who Black teachers are turning into in a lot of areas around here, around the city, around the county, around the state, around the country? You know who Black teachers are turning into? They turning into that uncle. They turning into that auntie that y'all know be messing with these kids, but you don't never say nothing about it. Talk to me. They turning into that uncle and that auntie that be messing with the kids. But y'all put them in place. Y'all let them do what they do. And then you don't even go after them when you should. I don't care that they got elevated. I don't care that they did good. I don't care that they made good. If they're not doing right by these kids, get their ass up out the paint. Period. Get them up out the paint. If you want change, you make change. You make change. Don't wait for somebody else to make. They're not going to make change to benefit you. They're going to make change to make things easier for them. This is why I'm starting to connect myself with different situations and why it's easily to keep disconnected from other situations. It's easily for me because I'm not going to deal with no clown shit. All these little organizations and groups and whatnot, they're popping up all over the place saying they doing stuff. I've been telling y'all they ain't doing nothing, and it's been showing. They not doing, now they even up here lying. Oh, we over here, we over there. We no days off, no afternoons off, no nights off. You're not even doing nothing. Why put that out there that you're doing so much if you're not doing nothing? Just don't do nothing. Stay in the dark. And if you got to get, stay with your get. Stay with your get. Somebody tear you off $1 million, you don't do nothing, just stay where you are. Just don't talk up that you doing something when you're not doing nothing. You just shedding light on you. I gotta give ism to old niggas now. I gotta talk shit to old niggas. If you're not gonna do nothing for the kids, if you're not gonna do nothing for the community, just stay the fuck quiet. No, y'all want to be out here high signing like you're doing something now. Now you in the public eye again on a negative end. I said, I'm not going to go after anybody that hustled somebody up out of $1 million because the hustle was corruptive. I'm more on the corruptive end of it. I don't care. I don't care that they got $1 million from the county. They felons. That's what felons do. Felons go, they hustle people. How I became a felon? I hustled something. I didn't hustle people, but I hustled something, and it was a bad hustle. It was an ignorant hustle. I had money in my pocket. I didn't even need the money that I hustled. But when you go hustle something, and then you want to say, I'm doing something else, but you're really not doing something, what are you saying? You dumb, you stupid, you slow. Keep your ass out the paint, dog. If you got your bag, go sit down and shut up. Count your chips. We know you're going to do minimal. Try to make it look like it's maximal, but really be meaningless. So stand back and stand by. But as far as these educators go, they get put in place for a reason. They're supposed to help change our children's lives, not for the negative either. And we got too many in place. that are negatively affecting our children's lives. You know, Brother Che over here in Huron, I talked to him after, like, it was one of the district games. I think it was it was a district game. Shook his hand, dapped him up, gave him a hug, you know, and I can see the edge in him, you know. And the one thing he did tell me, he said, I'm not a politician. That's a beautiful thing. So that's a beautiful thing. I love that. Don't be a politician. If you are an educator, you cannot be a politician. Appreciate you putting that in the algorithm, Brother Mike. Appreciate that. I like that. I like that. Nothing changes until you do. And we've got to do it as a collective. We've got to do it as a collective. Because trying to do things on our own, they don't work. They not only don't work, but they're divisive from the get. And they're going to be divisive in the end. And we're not going to do anything on this soil with longevity by ourselves. We need one another. Other factions of people may not need one another because they work on an individual type basis anyway. But when they get things on a collective level, you don't see them turn around and say, oh, that's not for us. When they do Asian bills, they don't specify which Asian, Chinese, Japanese, Taiwanese, you know, they don't do that. They say Asians. So all Asians qualify. When they say Latino bills, you've got your Mexicans, you got your Puerto Ricans, you got your Dominicans, you got your El Salvadorans, you got your Guatemalans. They all get that. But we can't get collected enough to understand, as Black Americans, as American freemen, as descendants of slaves, it's all the same thing. We got to fight about that. That the whole FBA thing. Look, I say all that without saying all that. That's why I said I don't have to classify myself as an FBA, because I can't classify myself as an FBA. But I can classify myself as an American freeman because that's what I am legally classified as. To be concise, will I say Black man? Absolutely. Somebody came to me and said, you know what? We're going to give African Americans reparations. We're finally going to come through on this legislation. You think I'm going to stand back and say, oh, no, I want you to give it to American freedmen? I just need to make sure they're not giving it to anybody that is not a native Black American. That's my cause in this. Don't give my shit to nobody else, just like you don't give nobody else's shit to me. That's where we need it. That's where we want it. But we don't have enough people speaking about that. And the other thing that we don't have enough people speaking about, as I get just over 90 minutes in here, what have I been talking about for 90 minutes? Minus the 2 minutes that I had to leave and go get my tea. I had a situation where somebody asked me why I didn't see the Creed movies. You know, you going to see Creed? Going to see Creed? And I'm like, nah. Like, why? I was like, I don't need to. And they're like, why? And I was like, because for one, it's the third movie and I haven't seen the first two. So that was the main reason, okay? That was the main reason. But the real reason that I'm not going to see the Creed movies is because of this. Okay? It's because of this. Apollo Creed is a fictional character from the Rocky films played by Carl Weathers. Apollo Creed. As you go down, they give his Apollo Creed the master of disaster, right? Occupation, boxer, boxing trainer. Spouse, Marianne Creed. Children, Adonis, Donnie Creed. Now, I guess that is Michael B. Jordan's character. Adonis, Donnie Creed. And we're going to dig right into that. We're going to go, I'm putting all of this 12W into this one. Unnamed son, unnamed daughter. Relatives, Amara Creed, granddaughter, Bianca Creed, daughter-in-law. I guess that is Adonis's wife and daughter of Apollo Creed. Okay? There's a reason I'm doing this. There's a reason I'm doing this, because I'm going to explain why I did not go see the Creed movie and why I will never go back to see Creed 1 and Creed 2 to catch up. Because it's got to mean something to me. And the fact that they did this just lets me know America, even in a fictional, even in a cinematic state, they are never going to let up with the white supremacist values. And I never looked at Rocky as being a white supremacist film. I absolutely didn't. I looked at Rocky as a good movie to watch. You know, I liked watching it because I guess I kind of already knew who was going to win in the end. But then when I really think about it, when I really think about it, yeah, we knew who was going to win in the end, but we knew it was way more fictitious than not. Because on his best day, Rocky couldn't have beat Apollo Creed. We saw Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed ended up teaching Rocky all of the stuff that he knew way back in the day, right? He did all the stuff that he knew. And then Apollo came back in a 4, and then Drago killed him, and then Rocky went and beat Drago. Okay. I hate how they set that up, too. Apollo had to die. Apollo had to get killed in the ring. Okay. So, you haven't seen any of the Creed movies? Okay. Well, we'll see if your mind changes like my mind changed, because I had really no idea about any of this until about a month ago. So now we had a problem. I mean, we had a problem.
Oh, we got a problem here?
Yeah.
We got a problem here? We got a problem there? Oh, what else?
So the reason I don't like this is because Hollywood took it upon themselves to be white supremacist. That's exactly right, Sister Cindy. We got way more things that are pressing. Hollywood did this. Now, do y'all remember this scene from Rocky 2? Do y'all remember this scene from Rocky 2? When Apollo's kids was running through the bar area. You can see they had a whole wet bar back in the day. Apollo had a big mansion, and he was upstairs, and he was talking on the phone, and his kids ran through. That was, you know, showing the civility of Apollo Creed. He wasn't just in a pair of gym shorts. You know, he didn't have his shirt off, and he was all glistening with his taco meat showing. This showed him as a husband, as a father, as a man. If anybody remembers that scene, that is a boy right there in the red shirt. Just to the left of the frame, because I screenshotted a video just to show that's the boy. That's the boy. And the girl is in the blue just off to the far left. He chasing his sister. Okay. Now we go back to this where it said unnamed son and unnamed daughter. Okay. And then we go back to this. Apollo and Marianne's children in Rocky 2. Apollo and Marianne's children. Now, did y'all know that this son right here is not who Creed is? Did y'all know the storyline up to this point? Because I didn't know the storyline because I haven't seen the movies. And I haven't paid attention. When they named it Creed, I figured it was just Apollo's son grew up and he became a boxer. Well, indeed, it's Apollo's son. But it's not this little boy. It's not this boy that grew up And to me, that is an epic fail. I mean, an epic fail. How could this boy not be Adonis Creed? How could this boy not be who the Creed movies were made after? So I had to go to this. In the fictional setting of the films, Donnie is the illegitimate son of the late and former world champion Apollo Creed, the result of an affair between him and a woman with the surname Johnson, who died sometime in the 1990s. Donnie spends his first several years of his life in foster care and juvenile hall until he is subsequently adopted by Marianne Creed. Now, that's Apollo's wife, Apollo's widow, because remember, Apollo got killed in the ring. He lives a life of luxury, maintains a stable white-collar job, only to abandon it to pursue a lifelong dream of becoming a professional boxer. He goes to Philadelphia and convinces his late father's friend, Rocky Balboa, to train and mentor him. I mean, fairy tale as it is, but that's what Rocky films were. But the first couple sentences is what threw me all the way off. In this fictional setting of the films, Donnie is the illegitimate son of the former world champion Apollo Creed. The illegitimate son. The illegitimate son. I got him, man. I just don't be using them, you know. But when I read that, I'm like, why did he have to be an illegitimate? Why couldn't they have just made him the boy that was running through the house? Why did he have to be Apollo's illegitimate son? Why did they have to make his mama a single mother? The father, I wouldn't say he was deadbeat, because I don't know if Apollo gave money or not while he was living, but once he died, then Marianne took over. I don't know if she had been given him money or not. I don't know exactly how all that worked out, because I ain't seen none of the Creed movies. Yeah. He's the illegitimate child. Apollo couldn't have had a kid who grew up to follow in his footsteps. He had a kid outside of his marriage who actually was adopted by his family, brought in, sent to the best schools, got him a white-collar job, but then he had this thing in him that he wanted to become a professional boxer. That's how they lengthened the legacy of the Rocky movies. He couldn't be in corporate America and make good. He had to come out and go all the way back and be a pugilist. Are you serious? Absolutely, Free. This is how they view us. It wasn't good enough that Apollo had a stable home, stable woman, had 2 kids, and one of those kids could have been Creed. No. They had to make him an illegitimate child, a bastard child. And I don't know in any of the Creed movies if they ever show who his mama might have been, this, that, and the other. But it just says he spent his first several years of his life in foster care and juvenile until he was subsequently adopted. So he had a bad life. He had some run-ins with the law. Marianne picked him up, dusted him off, put him through school, gave him a life. That was the right word, though, right? I know you a wordsmith. That was the right word, right? We got a problem here.
Oh, we got a problem here?
Yeah.
We got a problem here? We got a problem there?
I ain't got a problem with my vocabulary, though. Some of these people be having problems with their vocabulary. That's why they don't need to be on the air. They want to sound like they got some knowledge. Some of them want to even be called knowledge. Let me know what Google say on pugilists. Let me know what Google say. Hopefully it just ain't in my mind.
In my mind.
But stuff like this, I have a problem with, because we can't be cast in a positive light no matter what. Apollo gave his life. He gave his life to fight a steroid machine. He didn't know it was a steroid machine, but, you know, he was a steroid machine. That's why Drago hit him so hard. That's what killed him. But obviously before that, Apollo had dipped out on Marianne, fathered a child, a bastard child. And instead of them being credible and saying that Apollo's son grew up to follow in his footsteps after years of being in corporate America, he just had this hankering, they said, no, this ain't the boy who grew up. So what happened to this boy? Because I ain't seen none of the movies. Did this boy grow up? Is that boy, is he close to Adonis? Does the sister come into play? See, I don't know. I don't know if the two other kids even know Adonis. They grew up in the lap of luxury. I don't know if they know Adonis. Adonis is the bastard. These kids was in the house with Apollo. Pugilist, a boxer, especially a professional one. Ha ha ha. Trying to tell you, man, it ain't in my mind.
In my mind.
You know, I know 2-3 words. I didn't stay long, Mike, but I stopped by the school. I stopped by. So where I'm looking at this point is these things, if they don't stop in Hollywood, we don't need to be worried about whether Auntie gets the Oscar or not. Angela Bassett been stood up on Oscar night more than anybody I know. She don't get to take Oscar home as her date with Courtney B. It's a horrible situation. She done played some of the greatest roles ever. Appreciate you, bro. She done played some of the greatest roles ever. Angela Bassett has been the one. And sitting on 0 Oscars. 0. Come on, man. 0? Really? Really? And I can't hate on Jamie Lee Curtis because I actually like Jamie Lee Curtis as an actress. I think she's always been on the right side of history with a lot of stuff. So I don't hate on Jamie Lee Curtis winning. And frankly, I didn't see Wakanda Forever, so I don't know how good Angela was in this one anyway. I know she was great in the first one. Felt like she should have won in the first one. But I didn't see the second one, so I don't know. But I guess everybody says she turned the second one out. And did she die? I thought somebody said she died in this one too. I don't know. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. But either way, Apollo deserved the respect to have had this boy be Creed and not Michael B. Jordan. Or maybe this boy grew up and he ain't got abs like Michael B. Jordan. I don't know. I don't know why they chose Michael B. Jordan. But this is more than Michael B. Jordan. This is systemic hate for the black family. Because he didn't have to be his illegitimate son. He could have easily been Mary Ann and Apollo's kid. But for some reason, they couldn't give him that credit. Adonis, the bastard child, gets named, and the son and the daughter that were in the Rocky movies, unnamed son, unnamed daughter. That sounds kind of plantation-ish to me. Oh, absolutely. It's just, they're just giving themselves pats on the back. And when they're forced to actually give us a pat on the back, it's generally for a very degrading role. That's why when, like, you know, Will Smith got for King Richard, I was happy. It was a positive role. But most of the roles that we get Oscars for, it'd be on some really degrading shit. Denzel for Training Day or Halle Berry for Monster Ball. If Halle Berry didn't have that sex scene in Monsters Ball, she wouldn't have got the Oscar. That sex scene took Halle Berry over the top. That sex scene in Monsters Ball was over the top for Halle Berry. That got her that Oscar. And basically, as far as Training Day went, they showed how a black man could just turn on everybody. Turned on his brothers, turned on his sisters, turned on the whites, turned on the Latinos. He turned on everybody. Then he got his at the end, and they said, okay, we'll give you an Oscar on this. Hell, I feel like Denzel deserved an Oscar. Devil in the Blue Dress. Soldier Story. How did he not get one for Malcolm? But, you know, it is what it is. That's why they checking for a channel like mine with less than 700 subscribers to make sure my message is suitable. Because I'm not talking goofy. I'm talking real. And that's why we need to be repaired. Because that's the realest of it all. On a cinematic front, it was a great movie. But it took that for us to win an Oscar? No, I don't think so. Should have won for Fences. You know? And we don't fight for these things. And the reason we don't fight for these things, because everybody that we elect, everybody that we select, everybody that is appointed is a labyrinth. They are labyrinthine. And since they're in front, since they're on top, they are labyrinthine leaders. They are complicated. They are intricate. They are complex. They are torturous, convoluted, confusing, puzzling, perplexing, mystifying, bewildering. That's who our leaders are out here, y'all. That's who our leaders are. When are we going to figure out that we can't have leadership? Period. Roman J. Israel deserved them all. That was a great movie top to bottom. And that afro reminded me of you. And it just ain't in my mind.
In my mind.
Roman had that big natural. They don't, man, super smart. Super smart. He was tough. He was tough in that movie. Like I said, on a cinematic front, it was a great movie. But look what he had to do. Look who he had to be for them to give him the trophy. Let me give him the trophy. So I want to bring up something. I'm going to close it out with this, because I think this is very, yes, he was a monster in that movie. This is very serious to me. There it is. I keep seeing these people pop up talking about black men need therapy, black men need, you know, health and wellness, da-da-dee, da-da-da. And I see what's being put out there. And I don't believe everybody is qualified to speak on these fronts. First and foremost, I would like to see, speaking for black men, I would like to see black men. I'm not saying that you can't speak up for us if you are not a black man, but where we start and finish is with us. Brothers, if we don't understand, we don't come together on these types of things, we never will. But I saw something a couple of days ago, and it was called Therapy for Black Men, okay? Therapy for Black Men. I don't know if any of y'all have seen this before. Let me just get to the screen so I can share it. Therapy for Black Men. This is tough for me. Okay, please understand, this is tough for me because I know there's going to be a little bit of flack. I know there's going to be a little bit of flack for this, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll welcome the flack. This is a site called therapyforblackmen.org. And I'm just going to read the heading. It says, "Welcome, Kings. Therapyforblackmen.org was born from the idea that Black men and boys face unique challenges and stigmatization and therefore need dedicated space for seeking and finding mental health support. We've made it our mission to strip away the stigmatization and ease the process of finding help by providing targeted resources and a database filled with professionals equipped to support men of color. Red flag, our users can now obtain the help they need and deserve. Y'all already know I don't deal with the men of color, the women of color, the people of color. I don't bang with that slang. That's a problem. And when you put that talking point in your mix, I'm going to look at you sideways. Now, let's go to the staff. This is the team for Therapy for Black Men. Founder, Vladimir Kalixi. I don't know how to pronounce the name. Excuse me, I'm butchering the name. Founder of Therapy for Black Men. This is the therapy. It's just the therapy. As a child, I grew up without a father in the household. Red flag. But she's going to tell us brothers how to deal with and interact with our kids, our fathers, our grandfathers. She grew up without one, but she's going to tell us how to deal with one. Okay. As I saw other children interact with their fathers, I felt immeasurable void, and I yearned for that connection. Through my personal struggles and my professional background as a therapist, I understand we all have experienced some form of trauma in our lives. In working with men of color, red flag, once again, I've learned the ever-present narrative in which Black men are told to be strong, walk it off, don't cry, man up. I'm here to tell you that these are the wrong messages. You are not meant to go on a journey alone. Now, as a mother, a wife, I see positive impact. I see the positive impact my husband has on our children day in and day out. Furthermore, as a therapist, I witness firsthand the courage men show each and every day during therapy. She didn't say as a wife, as a mother. She said as a therapist. I know how the power of sharing one story in a compassionate, judgment-free environment helps them on a path to healing. I started Therapy for Black Men so all Black men could find strength in healing. And then it starts giving, her credentials. Vladimir is a multiple award-winning expert on mental health. I've never seen her get an award. I don't know if anybody else has, whatever. Self-esteem, substance abuse, addiction, relationships. She works with women, men, couples, families from all walks of life, including celebrities, politicians. I don't care who else she works with. She said she was an expert on men. I want her to be talking about men. I want this to only be about men. If y'all want to kick her bio somewhere else, kick her bio somewhere else. But this is supposed to be about men. Don't give me her whole resume. Give me her resume with men. She holds a sociology degree. Oh, here we go. Sociologist. You already know the definition of a sociologist. They are expert on everything but nothing. She holds a sociology degree from Hunter's College. Who else went to Hunter College? Somebody else that went to Hunter College. Yeah. I'm going to look Hunter College up again because they got some esteemed alumni. Hunter College and a master's degree in applied psychology from New York University. She has worked in psychology for over 20 years and has helped various clients around the world overcome addiction, depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, trauma, sex abuse, PTSD. Vladimir provides an individual, couples, family therapy. Okay. When she's not counseling others, she loves to write, sing, cook, and dance. She is most proud of being a happily married mother of 2 children, and she's been married to her husband, Benjamin, for 17 years. Here's Benjamin. founder of Therapy for Men. My greatest pleasure in life was being a stay-at-home dad. What? My greatest pleasure in life was being a stay-at-home dad. Huh? Trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it out, y'all. Just trying to figure it out. Yeah. So Benjamin's greatest feat is being a stay-at-home dad. Second to that, my passion is coaching and being able to guide people to reach their utmost potential. Growing up, my father encouraged my brothers and I to participate in various sports. I played basketball, football, baseball, and ran track. As such, coaching felt like a natural fit for me. Through both fatherhood and my vocational calling to lift others, I've learned that the right support can have a massive impact on a person's psyche and overall well-being. I'm not going to disagree with that. Can't. That's why I found it imperative to provide resource catering to the needs of Black men. Now, he said it right. He didn't say men of color. He said Black men. My wife and I designed this forum so that Black men, keep talking that, could be better educated on mental health matters. Furthermore, we wanted to facilitate a culturally relevant social media presence to offer daily inspiration and allow Black men. See, he's saying Black men, she's saying men of color. See how there's something wrong there? There's a disconnect. There is a disconnect. And to encourage one another. Benjamin's bio ain't nearly as long as Vladimir's. Benjamin is a certified professional coach with holistic approach to health and wellness. He has 17 years of experience in customer relations and 8 years of experience in a managerial capacity. They've been married 17 years and he has 17 years of experience. That's odd. Did he get his experience when they got married and they just transcending their, okay, I won't even start. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology from Brooklyn College and has earned a certification as a life and executive coach from NYU. So they both went to NYU. He went to Brooklyn. She went to Hunter. Okay. Benjamin is committed to addressing the current system designed to the detriment of Black men. As such, he has lent his voice to help raise awareness in place-based policies. I don't know what that is. Unconscious, implicit bias, inclusion, the empathy gap. Sounds like some all lives matter stuff. And human expectations and perceptions. Okay. Benjamin has spoken before various organizations, Walmart, Congressional Black Caucus, etc. Okay. In addition to his present work as a couples coach. In his free time, Benjamin loves to read, write, and play sports. Him and his wife like to do the same thing. He just don't like to sing and dance. He's most proud of being a happily married father of 2 children and has been married to Vladimir for 17 years. Here's the rest of the team. We're going to breeze through this. Sachin Soni. Sabrina Lamour. Aramis Grant. Nicole Max. And then there's Davion Chester, whose hair kind of looks like the sister's hair, and he got the Wakanda chain on. Okay, never mind. But let's just go back up here because the team after Benjamin, after Vladimir, female, 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 Black male. We go back up here, female. I don't even think she Black. These names don't sound Black. Aramis, Lamour, Sachin, Chaching. Okay. then we got Benjamin Kalik. That these are not free. Okay, so, and this is just one organization. Oh, absolutely. One leg at a time. He didn't say that. Being a positive, strong black man for my kids. I'm thinking Benjamin got a headset on my damn self. Said he has spoke in front of various people. Yeah, in the queue. Thank you for calling Walmart customer service. How can I help you? This is Benjamin speaking. Yeah. Oh, so you want to touch on the truth? That's why I'm tripping. Vladimir founded it. Sounds like Benjamin co-founded it because he has the same experience that Vladimir has. Sounds like Vladimir was already on this. And then she had her sister girls in. Sachin, Sabrina, Aramis, and Nicole. And then they got Davion in, and he's an artist. He yeah, okay. All right, got it. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Bruh, you failed me. Let me go on and get out of here before I start to get heart palpitations. Good Lord. But it takes us all the way back here. Now, we know this. I would have to say that they are labyrinthine leaders. They are indeed labyrinthine leaders. Why? Because they are confusing, they are puzzling, they are convoluted. They don't make sense with this. All these ladies gonna make these men right? Okay.
In my mind.
Maybe it's just in my mind. I don't get it. I think it's a problem.
Oh, we got a problem here?
Yeah.
We got a problem here? We got a problem there? Oh, what else?
Yeah. I mean, and that checks a few boxes, you are EOE, equal opportunity employer. I get it. Black, male, gay, checked a lot of boxes on that. No problem with that. In my mind. Absolutely. But this is what's out there. This is what's in our system. French. Yeah, I believe that. When I saw that Vladimir, though, I was like, whoa. I was thinking that it was, I don't know. They got kids, so, somebody had some babies. But it is what it is. Labyrinthine leaders can come from all angles. And as we talked about politics, talked about the spiritual world, the religious sector, talked about education, things like this. Mental health workers, I think, should be able to align with you from the get. And I don't know how any of these people on the team align with any of me. Hell, Benjamin don't even align with me. They just don't. And I only want people to be true to people out here. That's why I say, if you're really doing some work out here, do that work. But if you're not really doing no work, man, get the fuck out the way. You're wasting people's time, and you stepping inside of people's space who could be doing the work, and you distracting people. You're being an obstructionist. We don't need obstructionists at this point. We've got to bypass obstructionists. But everybody want to be all up in the videos, singing and dancing until they start pulling them down. Yeah, I see y'all pulling y'all pictures down. We're going to talk more about that. When we get into the Pathways thing, I'm really going to dig into this whole local thing. Because people that are saying they're doing things out here, they're not doing them. That's being found out. That needs to be brought out. Because I've already told you. I'm not going to deal with no more studio gangsters.
Niggas straight kill me, knowing that they pranksters. This is going out into your studio gangsters.
I'm done with them.
Niggas straight kill me, knowing that they pranksters. This is going out into your studio gangsters.
So, I done kept y'all in here, 130 minutes? Good Lord. Appreciate y'all. Chat room was popping. The fact that I can't spread this message throughout Faceless Book is a little harmful because a lot of views come from that app. But we got to just continue to build up where we are and what we can do. Appreciate you, Sister Cindy, for getting the survey. They're probably doing it at random. Everybody's probably not even getting it to see if the message is suitable. That's funny. That's funny that they're paying that much attention to somebody like me. I'm good with it, though. I'm good with it. If y'all paying attention to me, maybe y'all paying less attention to them other ones, and them other ones will fall off. Them other ones will just fall off. But I'm good with it. Appreciate you. And for all those who have supported, like free, Mike's been there. I have phone conversations with Mike's Sister Cindy. You more new on the plat. OG, you've been there. Everybody that supports me, I got mad love for y'all. Y'all understand. It ain't always about getting here at the beginning or even having to check in at the end. Watch these playbacks, share the videos if you can. I believe the messages are strong because I know they're thorough, they're truthful. I'm not out here no goofy shit. You haven't received one? If you ain't received one, that's super rare because they definitely should have sent you one by now. Appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. I've got to start to be smarter with that. You know, I don't really want to disappoint my 630 some odd subscribers. One day come up and ain't got nothing. ain't got nothing, you know. Then I'll be just standing around.
Oh, we got a problem here? We got a problem here?
Yeah.
We got a problem there? Oh, whatever.
You know, but where we at is where we at. But if you get an email from YouTube, make sure you answer it. You get that?
You got mail.
Make sure you answer it. Because it could be about Freedman Media's message. When you get that, you got mail.
You got mail.
Make sure you answer it. They got some questions for you. You know. I'm harmless, but I'm dangerous. If you understand that. I'm harmless, but I'm dangerous. And I know that. I was given that by two fearless individuals. And I ain't gonna stop. I'm just bringing it out a little bit more because at some point, you just got to cut your losses and go get your gains. You got to go get your gains. Appreciate you, bro. So to all y'all that seen the Creed movie out there and y'all didn't know that Adonis Creed wasn't this boy, you've been fooled all these years thinking that little boy that ran through the area, dining room, whatever that is, the bar, that was Creed. Well, maybe y'all know that he was the illegitimate son and y'all ain't said nothing. Y'all accepted that he was the illegitimate son. Y'all fucking clowns. I can't stop now, Free. I can't stop now. Only thing that prevents me from coming up here is life. That's the only thing that prevents me from coming up here. That's why I got to start to have dedicated spaces, dedicated time, so I know can't nothing stop me, you know. The randomness of it all is what prevents me from coming up. I really should have came up yesterday. I had a lot of this aligned yesterday. I just added a few things today. But we're going to get it right because the message has got to be more consistent. And I appreciate y'all. Appreciate everybody out here. Much love. Much love. So we have to remember Labyrinthine leaders and who they are and where they are and what they're doing to us. Because they're not doing anything for us, but they're doing what they're doing to us is confusing. It's mystifying, puzzling. That's what they're doing. That's what they're absolutely doing. And what we can't have is any more of that. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all be good on this Sunday afternoon. Kept you, man. Good Lord. 135 minutes going into 136. It's a long time to sit with me, and I appreciate you. And when we come back, we're going to have something harmless, but equally as dangerous. Y'all be good.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a word, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people. No.
We are coming to get our check.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
In my mind.
Y'all want to see a dead body?